know, when you're 16 years old, you're just lucky to have a job at the local department store, right? But it was at that very age, and this is only 6 years ago, that Matt Dalio created China Care, an organization that has since transformed the lives of over 200 kids. For one special little girl and her family, China Care has changed everything.
When we met Kylie, we were very nervous. We didn't know what to expect. I think she was abandoned at 2 weeks old. She was diagnosed with bilateral clubbed feet. Kylie was so fragile when she came to China Care that if they hadn't come, she wouldn't have survived. China Care is kind of like the, I would say the intercessor. I don't know if that's the right word for it. But they go to bat for the little ones who can't help themselves.
So I first went to China when I was 3 years old. At 16 years old in 2000, I knew that I wanted to do something to go back to China, something to help, something to give back. I went over there and saw that 95% of the children in the orphanage I was at were disabled, and that was the one thing holding them back from being adopted. So I came here, back to the US, and within half a year I'd started China Care. We are now at just over $1 million a year operating budget, and what that allows for 5 children's homes, and we have under our care, under our 24-hour supervision, 400 plus kids. How many volunteers do we have right now? Okay, but we're trying to get that number up to like 60. I joke that all I need is a backpack, a computer, and a cell phone, and I'm set. That is all you need. It's a lot of this is just communicating with people, trying to make stuff happen. You're pitching donors, and you're trying to coordinate with China to make programs happen, and that's all just, it's communication.
We actually had a friend who also volunteered for China Care, and she was going over with her sister to China. I said to her secretly, I said, okay, find me a baby. She brought me Kylie's picture, and I said, yeah, this is her. And I bonded instantly with that picture. It was wild to finally touch her and say, you're here. You're not two-dimensional anymore. I can hold you, I can squeeze you, I can give you kisses. It was amazing.
The kids that we focus on are really the kids with medical problems. Because of nutritional problems, in most cases, they're born with something like cleft lip, clubbed foot, heart problems. Cleft lip surgery, $500, that's all it is, simple $500, that's nothing here. For the average Chinese, that's half of their salary. Half of a year's salary goes towards that surgery. They can't afford it. And so a lot of these kids then get abandoned. Our goal is to be their advocates.
I'm adopted, and I've been so blessed in my life. It just made sense to be able to bless someone else, to be able to give back. I get very warm feelings when I look at Kylie. I look at her and I see myself.
Okay, ready? Is that good?
From the time that we got Kylie to now, she's already trying to walk. She's standing, she's cruising along furniture. So it's one miracle after another.
Good girl.
I think that China Care has made me realize that there are things that are far more important than materialism. I think that I have gained so much more than I have given. And you realize how much, really, by giving, you get.
There are many babies that China Care rescues. These little ones are forgotten. They're abandoned either by choice or by force, by force of society or whatever. But unless someone intervenes, then they have no more life. They perish. And that was the situation with Kylie. She wouldn't have had a life in China. If they hadn't intervened, she would have either died, or she would have been doomed to a life as a cripple begging on the streets. That breaks my heart, thinking that could be my daughter. If we hadn't found her, that could be her. And I say, my God, you know, it's pretty amazing how far, you know, we've come to be able to come and have this life and to be able to give that life.
It's okay. Reverend Susan's sitting over here going, okay, there's a sermon topic, there's another sermon topic.
And I'm so thankful Wardrobes uses waterproof mascara. That's all I got to say.
It was such a moving story.
You know what hit me right there at the end? Of course, the fact that the 16-year-old boy had this idea and started all this, but we all know so many affluent, especially you from Beverly Hills, California.
Yeah.
We know these affluent women who get their nails done and get facials and get dermabrasion. For about $300, you can pay to have a child's cleft lip fixed.
Isn't that amazing?
And change the course of their whole life.
Change everything
I mean, that's
about
what's
their
unbelievable.
future.
She said that. She said that child would have been begging on the streets or dead. And with $500, they changed the course of this child's entire destiny.
I know. Matt's story is such the power of being proactive. You know, look at Matt. He saw a problem or an obstacle, and sometimes we see a problem or an obstacle and we just kind of back off. He saw an obstacle and turned it into an opportunity. You know, if you come out of a place of faith and not fear, obstacles become opportunities, you know.
In Judaism, you know, every day you ask God to give you a fresh start. Literally, those words, you say, God, start my day anew, because the idea is that every day you can begin anew, that you don't have to be the person you were yesterday, and that you can change the course of how your future is going to go. And I love that, especially when you've had a terrible yesterday. You know that tomorrow can be different. You know?
Well, that's why I decided to call the show Naomi's New Morning. I think the word new and morning go together beautifully to remind us that it's all in our minds. We can change everything when we change our mind. Well, when we come back, it's time to take a trip down to that Day One Diner, where they're always serving up a healthy discussion. And then, of course, later on, we're going to meet a funky artist whose music moves the body and the soul. So stay right there.